Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to this very special edition, the SummerSlam edition of the Main Event Talk right here on YouTube. I am the one, I am the only, I am the genuine article, the original, that is the main event player, the Super C coming at you. This is not the usual way I would start my SummerSlam event, but I would do something different every once in a while. I kept trying to come up with an idea. Okay, if I'm going to start my SummerSlam review, I'm going to try something a little bit different. Try to figure out exactly, okay, can I do it in the backyard? No. Can I do it in my room? No. Can I do it in the kitchen? No. Can I do it in the bathroom? No. So I try to come up with an initiative idea of what I need to do to set up this whole SummerSlam review, and well, I could only think of one thing at this time. I was coming outside. I just got done watching a Behind the Music remastered of Motorhead. Badass band, by the way. And then as soon as I came outside, I was like thinking, you know what? Why don't we go ahead and set this camera up to an angle, and how about I do it around my Mustang? And I figured this will probably work out just fine. So I said, fuck it, this will work. I put the camera right here on my fucking face and tell everybody about WWE SummerSlam. And by the way, I apologize for all the cussing words that I'm using at this point in time right now. But let's get this whole thing out of the way. We are hours away from WWE SummerSlam, coming up live and exclusively on pay-per-view. Call your local cable company or your satellite provider, I'm sorry. SummerSlam is going to be a tremendous event to check out. I cannot wait to see it. Most of you guys have an opportunity to see, had an opportunity to see the press conference. If you didn't, go to WWE, go to your WWE amp or WWE.com and check out the entire press conference. It was very, very interesting to watch. Everything from Stephanie McMahon coming out to the Funkadactyls to everyone coming out for the Total Divas episode. And here's the thing, here's the funniest thing in the world. I seriously doubt anyone's going to watch Total Divas, considering that it's everyone's going to be watching WWE SummerSlam exclusively on pay-per-view, which is tonight. So that's going to be an off-key record right there. So let me get right into it. Everybody knows about the countdown show taking place tonight, the kickoff. It's going to have an analysis with the 5-time WCW champion in the form of Booker T, arguably the greatest performer, the greatest wrestler of all time in the form of San Antonio, Texas' own, and the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, will be there as well. And also from Total Divas, Natalya, she'll be a part of the whole festivities as well. And the kickoff show begins with the United States Heavyweight Champion in the form of Dean Ambrose defending the United States Championship against Rob Van Dam. Now, believe it or not, SummerSlam is actually going to start a little early. Usually when the countdown show happens, it's usually 30 minutes off, and then it goes ahead, and goes right into the pay-per-view. 30 minutes, and then 7 o'clock begins, and then the whole pay-per-view starts from there on out. But now I looked at the schedule, and apparently SummerSlam is going to start around 6. It's going to be an hour-long countdown show, and then it's going to immediately start at 7 o'clock. That's for all you people here in Corpus and all you people around the world that are on Pacific Coast time or West time or whatever the fuck it is. So, let's see. We're not going to really get into all of the matches that are going to take place at SummerSlam. We're just going to get into the two particular ones that people are going to be watching the most. The first one, let's talk about the Best versus the Beast. We're talking CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar. This is going to be a badass match. You know something? This is one of these matches where I really don't give a fuck who wins, whether it's Brock Lesnar or whether it's CM Punk. I somehow think Brock Lesnar is going to win it somehow because of Paul Heyman, but this whole entire thing with CM Punk and Brock Lesnar is going to go as far as it can, and will it go even further past SummerSlam? I bet it will somehow. I mean, it's only a matter of time. But the whole initiative, you guys know about what happened at Money in the Bank with CM Punk and Brock Lesnar, CM Punk and Paul Heyman, I'm sorry. It led to several great segments on Raw, which was badass. I mean, every time I watch Raw and every time there was a segment involving Brock Lesnar, involving CM Punk, involving Paul Heyman, it's always a badass segment with those guys. So whatever happens, whether it's a fight, whether it's an argument, whether it's something that actually makes sense, that is what I digged about all three men. Love them, hate them, respect all three men, because they put on one hell of a good segment every single time when they come on Raw. And this tonight on SummerSlam, it's going to be a good match. I don't care who wins. I like CM Punk. I like Brock Lesnar. I like Paul Heyman. All three men kick ass. And I just hope the ending is as good as it looks. But if the ending sucks, well, how can these three men make it suck? How does that happen? But nonetheless, SummerSlam, the best versus the beast, CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar. It should be badass to watch tonight on SummerSlam. Before I get into Daniel Bryan versus John Cena for the WWE Championship, I want to bring up a SummerSlam fact. And I said I wasn't going to do any shout-outs, but I'm going to give a shout-out to a few people. To my friend, to longtime best friend, my longtime best friend and tag team partner, Homestar Runner, Hector. To also, let's see, to John Luna, to Mike Rock. Well, by the way, okay, this straight up, I'm going to go ahead and advertise this because I have to. Everybody knows about August 23rd. Everybody knows about the shows going to take place at Theo's. So I want to remind everybody on this show right here, August 23rd, there's going to be 4 badass mans, not 3, 4. This Dying Dream will be playing at Theo's Billiards alongside with Killamora, Shattered Sun, and the reunization of the Periwinkle Massacre. They're all take place at Theo's Billiards August 23rd. It should be a tremendous show. Can't wait to check it out. It's been a long time since I've seen the Periwinkle Massacre together. Actually, it's been a long time since I've seen Killamora. I know they've been playing around a few shows over in Corpus, but that's about it. And This Dying Dream, great band. They've played at Theo's many times before. They played at the House of Rock many times before. I hadn't really heard much of them. I know they had a Facebook page, but something went wrong. Somebody fucked it up, and then the entire story went wrong. But the latest news I'm hearing is This Dying Dream. They got some new material. They got some new stuff they're working on, and I hope when I get there to the show August 23rd over at Theo's Billiards to check it out to see what This Dying Dream has to offer. So can't wait for that. Also, a big shout out to everyone in Corpus Christi, especially when it comes to my friends, my longtime friends who probably remember this date. This is a SummerSlam fact. To my friend George, to my friend Jacob, to everyone from who used to go to South Park Middle School, who went all the way to Moody High School a long time ago. Let me give you a fact to remember. Do you remember SummerSlam of 1992? Yeah, you probably remember that, but just in case if you don't, this is my first SummerSlam a long time ago as a kid. I used to go to a place called South Park Middle School. I was, I think we were starting on the stages, going to school and stuff, and I invited a few friends over to check out my very first pay-per-view. The first pay-per-view would be entitled WWF SummerSlam, and SummerSlam, this is the best SummerSlam I've ever had. It featured the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, to take on Money Incorporated, Ted DiBiase, and IRS. Do you remember that match? That was tremendous. Also, Nails. Do you remember that guy? The one that kicked the Big Boss Man's ass? He took on Virgil at SummerSlam. Also, in that particular SummerSlam, do you remember when Bobby the Brain Heenan was there with Vince McMahon doing the commentary, and he came out with that ridiculous crown on his fucking head just because he's, they're in England and stuff? King Bobby, I think it was called. And I think Vince McMahon, I remember the comment that he told Bobby the Brain Heenan, telling him, take that ridiculous looking crown off, you look like a poster boy for a margarine commercial. Oh shit, that was funny. And also, the two matches, and I think the one that everybody was looking forward to seeing, the match with, remember, the Ultimate Warrior versus the Macho Man Randy Savage for the WWE Championship, but there was a lot of confusion that happened involving Ric Flair and involving Mr. Perfect at that time when he was still alive. Do you remember when, I think it was Mr. Perfect who had tried to convince the Macho Man that he was going to go for the Ultimate Warrior, as Ric Flair tried to convince the Ultimate Warrior he was going to go for the Macho Man. And at the end of the match, from what I was reading, there was a lot of stuff saying that the Ultimate Warrior was going to turn heel on the Macho Man and then become WWE Champion or something like that. But it didn't happen. Macho Man won the match. Ric Flair would injure the leg the Macho Man Randy Savage to claim back the WWE Championship about a month later. So Ric Flair would become a two-time WWE Champion. But nonetheless, SummerSlam 1992, Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man Randy Savage, a great matchup in many ways possible. And then, of course, the main event for that matchup at SummerSlam of 1992, it was the most talked about matchup ever over in Wembley Stadium. Forgot about that. Wembley Stadium. It featured Intercontinental Champion, one of the greatest Intercontinental Champions of all time, Bret the Hitman Hart, defending the championship against the late, great British Bulldog. I remember Lennox Lewis came out with the British flag, holding the banner for the Bulldog. The crowd was really into the matchup. Diana, Bret Hart's sister, the Bulldog's wife, was in attendance watching that entire matchup. And you know what? As a kid, I was just amazed just watching this matchup go back and forth. And you didn't know who to root for, whether it was the British Bulldog or Bret the Hitman Hart. But these were two technically sound superstars that had all the ability, all the talent, all the charisma, everything in the world. And in the end of SummerSlam, yes, the British Bulldog won the matchup. He became the Intercontinental Champion for the very first time in his career. And Bret the Hitman Hart, well, he lost, but got the family back together. And then how ironic that the Bulldog would lose the championship to Shawn Michaels several weeks later, and Bret the Hitman Hart would move on to go to Saskatoon to take on Ric Flair for the WWE Championship and would win the championship for the very first time. This all took place in 1992. SummerSlam fact for you right here on the Main Event Talk. Now let's get to the conclusion. Let's get to the final match. John Cena versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. There's a lot of fucking crazy predictions as to how this match is going to happen. Everyone's been saying that, Triple H being a part as a referee. They're saying Randy Orton's going to turn heel.